Hello everyone, I'm Sankalp and welcome to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed, so please subscribe the channel. And today we have Shravan with us. He's a final year mechanical student and he has cracked the role of program manager at Apple. So we'll be discussing all the things that he faced and some of the tips and suggestions that he has. So we'll start this video with a brief introduction. So can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi Sankalp. Hello everyone. I am Shravan. I am from Hyderabad. I am pursuing BTech Mechanical Engineering from VIT Vellore, and I recently got selected for an internship with Apple as a technical program manager.
Okay. Now, if we talk about the college life, so how was your college life from first year to current year, and what all things you want to suggest the juniors?
Yeah, in this regard, I would like to say that I'm actually not a final year. I am a timed out student, which basically means that I should have graduated by 2020 May, but I'm will be graduating in the next year, May 21. So this is because I was sick for a while, so I had to take a year gap. But otherwise, it has been a very good journey throughout college. It was a roller coaster ride, I would say. So in my first year, as is with any student in VIT, it was very difficult to figure out how things happen. It was different from school life to college life, the transition. So it took me a while to figure that out, almost 2 semesters, I would say. And in the meantime, what happened was I was concentrating quite a lot on my academics. I didn't let that go away. And I have a good grip on academics, so I did not feel that difficult when I was writing the exams or the entire examination patterns that happens in VIT. So it didn't feel so very stressful, I would say. And then by the end of first year, I started to get sick, and so the entire second year was at home. But that is after the second year is what different things happened in life, which I think helped me grow a lot. And that is when I started working on different projects and other things and clubs and chapters, everything. So that is where I changed my entire profile into a very complete profile, I would say. Before that, it was only academics, and after the second year, after the break, it turned into a complete profile, which helped me secure this internship actually.
Okay. Now, if we talk about some of the previous internships or experiences that you have, so what all you can share in this?
Yeah, I did an internship at IIT Madras in machine design department. So this I did it for a month, and as a part of the mandatory internship that we have to do from college. And it was I actually towards the end of fifth semester or sixth semester, I started to approach faculty from IIT Madras because I was interested in design. And then I had sent out a lot of mails to the faculties, and then one of them responded positively, so I took it up with him. It was a very interesting internship, because until that point we are not exposed to the research that happens at that level, at a PhD level, I would say. So I understood the nuances there, and then that helped me a lot, and it also gave me a boost in the profile, because IIT Madras has a good weightage. It is not easy to get an internship there, and to get it and to work, and then it was a very good experience. I actually feel maybe I could have done another industry internship at a company or a corporate setup, but unfortunately, so I could not do. But it was
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so that was regarding the internships that he has done. Now, if we talk about some of the projects that you have done, so what all projects you can share with us?
Yeah, so along with the coursework in VIT, I have done a couple of projects which were not in the course, and it was out of complete passion. So for this, one of the biggest projects that I've been working on for over 1.5 years is an autonomous coconut harvesting device. So this was the only project that I dedicated most of my time for, and there were other small projects for hackathons and other designathons, I would say. So as part of that, I developed a couple of projects, but I did not invest much time into that. So my agenda was from the beginning that I would invest time in in only one thing and focus on getting that to a good level instead of trying to do multiple projects at once and not succeeding in any of them. So I had a very good guide in this regard. So my faculty guide, Professor Arun Tom Matthew, he actually helped me get this perspective, and I took it up and I thought, okay, let's work on this. So it's been more than 1.5 years, as I said, and that gave me a lot of insights because it was a multidisciplinary project. It involved software aspects, it involved electronics, it involved mechanical design. So altogether, it was very fun, and also I enjoyed it because I love new product development. So that helped me, get hands-on exposure to that field as well.
Okay. So that was mostly about him. Now, if we move with the selection process for this company, Apple. So, like, how many people had applied for this and how many were selected?
In the first round, I think around 1,500, more than 1,500 people had applied, and it was open for branches like electronics and communications, electrical and electronics, instrumentation, and other specialization branches of electronics, and also for mechanical engineers and all its specialization, including automobile, energy, and production. So of the 1,500 plus students, 900 were from electronics, and over 600 people were from mechanical engineering background.
Okay. And like, how many were totally selected for this company?
Yeah, so only three people got selected, all the three from mechanical engineering department.
Okay. So that is like 3 out of 1,500. So the ratio is like very less. Now, if we talk about the role of CGPA in this, so like you have a very good CGPA. So, like for the other people, so what is the role of CGPA in this entire process?
Okay, so in my aspect, as I said, my CGPA is 9.67. That definitely gave me a huge advantage over the other people. But even the other people, I am not completely sure, but I don't think they are 9 pointers. It was because of their profile that they got in, is what I think. So it was not a mandatory thing that you need to be a 9 pointer. The selection criteria was 7 CGPA. That was the minimum requirement, but it was a complete thing which they saw. They had from what I understand, they have handpicked the roles for each candidate, saying, okay, this candidate will fit in well for this particular profile. So considering that, yes, CGPA matters, and for me it did, because even towards the end of the interview, the interviewer mentioned clearly that your academics is really good and your extracurricular is also really good. So what he meant by that was my CGPA mainly. And I think it will definitely help for a candidate to have 9 plus CGPA. And considering, it is just my opinion that it is not very difficult to maintain 9, but even if you do not have a 9 CGPA, it is not a big drawback, I would say. Work on your overall personality development and work on different things, not just academics or projects which are related to academics. You can find your passion in anything and continue working on that. All of these have some weightage, especially in placements.
Okay. Now, if we talk about the selection process for this role or for this company, so like how was the entire selection process if we start from the first round till the last round?
Yeah. So, firstly, it started off with the application. We had to apply for the company, and as I said, over 1,500 people had applied. And after that, they took some time to get back to us, and they had asked us to fill a Google form, in which we were given an option to fill out details about one project. So they had asked the title and a brief description on the project, and I had mentioned about the coconut harvesting device that I worked on, and I mentioned only like 3 or 4 points, very crisp, onto straight forward, nothing extra. And after this, a couple of weeks later, I received a phone call from the recruiting team saying that I have interviews scheduled with them, and they had asked if I'm comfortable with the timings. And when I said yes, they scheduled it, and I had two interviews scheduled, one after the other, with only like 10 minutes break in between. So in this, what happened was, both the one interviewer was from India, and the other was from the main head office in Cupertino in the US. So both of them were they are technical program managers, and they wanted to interview straightly for the candidate based on the profile. And when I cross checked with the other candidates who got selected, they had different interviewers. So that meant that they set up a few candidates for this particular role, and these were the two people who interviewed me, and probably the others who were applying for this role as well.
Okay. So this is for technical program manager role, and for this he has been selected. Now, as this Corona time, most of the interviews are done virtually. So, what are some of the pros and cons that you have felt, or some of the things that we should keep in mind when we are giving any virtual interviews?
In my mind, I think more than pros, I felt a lot of cons with the virtual interviews, mainly because I am a very animated guy during interviews and group discussions, and I love to communicate a lot through my body language, be it with my hand gestures or with my facial expressions. So I felt that this I could not do it up to my best levels during the virtual interviews, and also the fact that during the interviews I had to take some time to set up the the online network issues. And even not just this, even the previous interviews which I had undergone, there were a lot of glitches that were happening midway through the interview. The interviewer told me that he or she could not hear me, and I had elaborated my entire work during that phase. So I think there was a lot of communication gap that had happened because of that. But it is very important to stay calm. I think that gives the advantage. If in my head, if I am calm even during this what do you say, panic mode, then it gives the interviewer a sense of feeling that in spite of this, he's not succumbing to that pressure or that panic. So I think it is important to maintain composure, not panic. They also understand us. They also might be experiencing such glitches and issues when they are interviewing candidates. So it is important to understand that and maintain composure.
Okay, so that was regarding the entire selection process. Now, if we talk about the strategies that you had followed for the preparation, so what all you can share in this?
So so I was mainly interested in getting a internship or a job in the core mechanical engineering companies. So what happened was I actually decided to take up placements very late. I think towards the end of July is when I realized that I want to sit for placements. And by that time, usually many companies have actually come and gone as well. And I know a lot of people in my friends group where they are already started preparing for placements during summer. So I thought, okay, I was going a little delayed sort of thing, I'm running behind, but I had to catch up. So for a long time, even after that, I did not realize what had to be done. And I think towards the end of August is when I realized that I had to maintain a particular strategy for preparing for core companies placement. So one thing which I did was I took up a lot of certification courses during summer and during the first few months of the fall semester. So in that process, I did not consider placements as a priority. I thought, okay, I want to dwell more into the subject knowledge, and I took up courses that I liked a lot. But later, I was told that this doesn't help that much in core company placement, because you can exhibit these things only if you are selected for the interview rounds. But to get into the interview rounds, you need to clear the online test, and for that they test the foundations of the mechanical engineering, and it has a lot to do with the first and second year concepts. So then I realized, okay, this is something which I have to definitely work on. I purchased a couple of books. I started taking up tests online. So I started working on that. And I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I could not get through to a lot of online tests as well. And the ones the interviews that I made it to the final round. I don't know how, but I missed the conversion there. But I would say that fortunately everything worked out for me, because in during the Apple selection process, what mattered the most was the entirety of my profile, including the online certification courses that I had done just a couple of months back. So without my realization, without the standard template which the seniors had given me, I think that helped me to get the selection in Apple and everything else. Because in Apple there was no online test. They did not specifically get into the foundation level subjects of mechanical engineering. They were more interested as to whether this guy can grasp whatever we are telling, whether he knows what he is doing. So there I was feeling that happiness and the joy. Okay, finally this all worked out for me.
Okay. So as you said, like you started a little late, and you have also faced some rejection. So how when can we keep ourselves motivated during this entire process after like several rejections and all?
Yeah. So first thing that we have to keep in mind is to trust ourselves. We know our capabilities more than anyone else does. So it is important to have faith in ourselves, even if the world doesn't have. And the difficult part I felt was that even when I get rejected, I don't know the reason why. So in that scenario, it gets very difficult to pinpoint and say, okay, if I had done this better, then I would have probably succeeded, because we don't know. There are multiple such ifs and buts, but it is very important to tell ourselves that yeah, we have put in effort, we have worked for several months for this, and it is important to trust in the process and in ourselves that yeah, we will all end up in a good place at some point, and all is not gone with this. And one thing which I also did was talk to my friends and my family for quite some time when I used to feel low, and it helped me get a clearer perspective. So maybe I am not feeling confident, but while talking to them, I am like, okay, this is where things have gone wrong. Maybe I can try a different thing. So they never used to tell me or pinpoint saying, okay, you can do this better, you can do that better, but it definitely helped me understand what I can do better. And I talked to a few of my seniors as well. So that gave me a perspective. So the seniors who are doing well off now, even they had gone through a lot of rejections in their time. So I could feel that. I was like, okay, this is how it is, and let's just not give up and continue with whatever it is. So that spirit is important.
Okay. And if we talk about the people who are from core branches, so like what are some of the challenges that they face, and what are some of the challenges that you have faced when you are sitting for any IT companies or some non-core job profiles?
So there are many people interested to shift to the software industry or the IT industry in spite of taking their degree in mechanical engineering or any other branch for that matter. So what I know from my friends who are doing that is that they have to put in that additional extra effort because their normal curriculum does not teach them that. So they either take up electives in that particular domain and try to get some insight on that. But on any day, it will be difficult when compared to a CSE department student, because they are well versed with it. So it is important, if you are really interested to get into the IT industry or the software industry, it is important that you have to put in that extra effort, which uh, the other candidates might usually put it through their curriculum. And from my perspective, I never really thought that I would, want to get into the IT industry right away. So I was a little skeptical, and I also applied for the companies in a very choosy way. I did not really, apply for any company that had come for placements. I was very selective in choosing the companies. And one company which I had applied for in the software part was Axis Bank, which had offered for a role for digital product owner. So in that, for me, the reason I applied was because of the product tag in it, and I want to get into product management. So I thought, okay, this is a nice way to get into product management. But in during the course of the interview, I realized that I did not know much about the company. I was not well prepared for the interview. So the interviewer, I remember, has had asked me more than 2 times as to why I wanted to get into Axis Bank, and they did not have a clear-cut answer for that. So I was just beating around the bush trying to explain it to the interviewer. So I think it is very important to be passionate about it in the first place if you really want to convert it into a job, and then understand what does the company do and what are the requirements of the company, what are the trends in the company that has been happening over the last year or so. So all of this is important, and I think if a candidate can do that, they have good chances in getting a job there.
Okay. So now if we talk about clubs and chapters that we can join in the colleges. So what are some of the pros and cons for this, and what all things we should keep in mind when we are joining any club or chapter?
I see that clubs and chapters have a major role in our college life, and it is because it gives a sense of team management and team skills and people skills when you're working with clubs and chapters. So even the project that I had worked on, it started off with the team that had in my chapter. So we were a group of people. We really wanted to do something because we thought we want to explore opportunities. So it started off as a simple project that we wanted to do, but it went on a long way. Even till date, the work is going on. So in that regard, it is very important. It helps us give a group of people who are like-minded, which you wouldn't otherwise connect to. So it gives connections to seniors and faculties and many more things. So that is my take on chapters, and I was also part of the music club. So that also helped me quite a lot because I participated in a lot of fests. So along with a sense of team building, there was also a sense of fun and enjoyment, which is very important in college life. So it had both the aspects, you know, achieving something and growing, and also having fun and enjoying. So that was my experience with clubs and chapters.
Okay. And now if we talk about the college life, so what all things we can do in colleges so that we can be more productive and it can help in our placements or internships.
In my take, what I would say is that in the first year, it is very difficult to say what you want to do in life or what you want to do after college. So in the first year, it is very important to focus more on what we have on our plate. We can work on our academics. That will be the best thing to do, and along with that, participate in clubs and chapters, the events that take place, because that is when it is all new. We can get a sense of understanding, and after that, in the second and third years, it is ideal to work on something, start taking things a little bit serious, may not be completely serious, even a little sense of may take up one project. Like I said, even I did work on only one project, so you can start working on a small project and then see where it goes. So in my mind, what was there was, even until July, the reason I did not take up placement was I was not sure as to what I wanted to do after graduation. So I thought, okay, I will try masters, or I will take up MBA, or I'll take up MS. So it was that clarity which was missing. But it is important to keep all the doors open, uh, and that will help, because if you are fixated on getting a job through placements right from the first year, it might not give you a lot of benefits, because at some point you might not even get a good job, for all we know, because the situation is not in our hands. It can change very quickly. So it is important to have a lot of options in our hands and try to keep them open for as long as possible. And also one more point which I would like to mention was, with regard to the CGPA. When I joined college, I was told by one of my seniors that first semester, whatever CGPA you get, it is going to be plus or minus zero point 0.3 towards the end of your graduation. So that is how the variation is very small gap. So may try to ensure that you have a good CGPA right after the first semester, because after that the change will be very less, unless you really exceed your expectations in performance, or totally the opposite. So that is also a very important thing.
Okay. Now, if we talk about the resumes or projects and work experiences, so how important it is for any selection and how we can improve it.
In my selection, this was the only thing that mattered to them, other than the fact that how I presented myself. So resume is important because it has to be very crisp. You don't have much place to play with. So you have very limited framework to play with, and then in that you have to communicate your entire work, whatever you have done in the past 4 years or even before that. So in that regard, no matter how much a person has worked, the resume should be communicating that work to the person who's reading it, and it has to be as crisp as possible without losing its intensity anywhere. So that is my take on resume. With regard to projects, I did not do many projects. It was all one good, defining project, and the rest were all small projects for as part of hackathons and other competitions. So I used to involve myself in participation for many hackathons and competitions. I used to apply for a lot of competitions, so that gave me a lot of perspective. Be it the same project or a new project, I used to try it out because then I know where I stand in a group of people. And in VIT, that is a very good opportunity that we get every month or so. We have so many hackathons happening, and the participation is also extremely good, where we have more than 1,000 students participating in every event. So that helped me a lot, and it gave me a boost to work on my project. And there was a goal at every time. So one competition, when I'm participating, okay, I tell myself that, see, this is what they're expecting in the competition, and I need to prepare my project to make sure that it is worth presenting in that competition. It was never winning, but it should be worth that I can talk about it. And that continued. So now I have a competition. The next competition, I will be like, okay, this is where it was last competition. Now for this one, I will do a little more add-ons. I will tweak a little more and see how I can do it better. So this is my take on projects. Take up one project that will be your defining project. Other things, other projects, you can do small projects. You will have time to do that, but that one project is very important. With regard to internships, I would say anyway we have one internship which is mandatory as part of our curriculum. Take it seriously, because I see a lot of people who don't do much work. They just take it up for the sake of doing it. But if you're serious about getting into masters or even for placements, you need to do some work during that internship. And you can apply. Right now I see a lot of opportunities in spite of COVID. In spite of the pandemic, there are a lot of opportunities, and I see people telling me that there aren't many opportunities for internships or for mechanical engineers as such. But what I see is that it takes dedication, it takes time and effort to actually be able to find the right internships. And you need to be going through a lot of websites like LinkedIn, AngelList. These were a couple of websites that I explored a lot, where there are numerous opportunities out there, but people are not utilizing it to their best. So as an intern, they don't really expect a candidate to know a lot of things, but they definitely do expect the candidate to be willing to learn. So if you can communicate that to the company or to the organization, then there is a good chance, irrespective of which domain or which department you're from. And it is a must that you have to do an internship at a good place. Try and in fact, even a startup is not a big problem. It is in fact really good because it gives a lot of exposure. So that is one thing. If you can convert more internships, then sure, that is also an add-on. And if you are currently in your second year or third years, that is much easier for you to do than a project. Because if you are in your third year, especially right now, you might be in your fifth or sixth semester, then it gets difficult to start a project now and to be able to make a significant impact. Whereas in an internship, people know that, like, people give you a ready-made framework. The company or the organization already has some work going on, and you have your own contribution to that as well. So all in all, it will fall in a very good place, and it is much easier to translate that into a profile. Whereas your own project, it might take a lot more effort, because I have personally experienced that. but I was willing to give that. If you are willing to, then it is, I think, much better. If it is not, then you can always take up 2 or 3 internships, and then that can boost your profile.
Okay, so those were many important topics that we have discussed. And currently, he is ranked 2 in his department with respect to CGPA. And I hope he has cleared most of the things that you may have in your doubts. So, if we talk about any final tips that you want to give the juniors who are watching the video, so what all things you can share in this?
Yeah, one thing which I want to point out is that do not give up, have perseverance, have patience, because we never know when the right opportunity is coming our way. Even I was feeling disappointed when I got rejected by numerous companies. I thought I had a very good profile, I thought I knew things. So, in a way, I was living in my own bubble. So, that these rejections helped me understand that, yeah, the bubble is not the entirety, and I came out of that after a point. And if I had probably given up, or say if I had probably been disappointed and let go of this, then I wouldn't have secured this opportunity which I have right now. So it is very important. You never know when the best opportunity for you is coming along, and you need to be prepared for that. So don't give up so easily. You have to keep putting on a good fight at all points. Another thing is that I think I mentioned this earlier. When we don't get a feedback during the selection process, we don't know where we went wrong, be it with the online test or be it with the interviews. No one is telling us where we went wrong. So it is very important for us as individuals. We need to introspect on our own work, what we have done. Maybe talk to seniors or mentors who can guide us, who can guide you with where you have gone wrong. So you can discuss how each step went along. So maybe if it is an online test, you can discuss how the questions were and where the questions were difficult for you and not. And similarly, in the interview process, I remember I discussed the entire interviews that had happened with my mentors, wherein I told this was the question asked, this was my response, and then I got insights which I never thought of. So it is important to figure out where you have gone wrong when there is no help or whatsoever from the company's end or from the placement office. In this, what happens is then you will see yourself grow, because if you don't do this, you will be stuck at the same point which you were before, only that you're trying it more and more times, and then you will feel more disheartened saying, okay, I did my best, I'm not giving up, where is the result? So maybe be a little less result oriented and more efforts oriented. So even that can take you a long way.
Okay, so that was some very valuable tips that he has given, and I hope you will find it useful. And that was all regarding this video. And if you have not yet subscribed, so subscribe the channel and also like the video if you found it useful. And now we'll meet in another video. So till then, goodbye.
Bye.